Stay live.
Just stay live and I'll zoom in on each of you.
On each of?
I can step out a little bit if you want to, after you get done with me, if you want me to. Just let me know.
I really don't know what they want at
Do you
this
know what
point.
time it's at? Is it right now?
School and R.E. Baker Elementary. They are also without power. As you mentioned, we're keeping kids inside from recess in that area. But fortunately, most of our buildings have enough natural light that when this happens, and certainly this isn't the first time this has happened in terms of not having electricity, we're able to move forward with a normal school day. We've been in contact with the Bentonville fire chief, who says at this point there's no need for evacuations. And so we will have a normal school day until 2:30, 2:50 when these schools typically release.
Okay, and you mentioned a couple of schools nearby the scene there, Washington Junior High and Apple Glen Elementary. What should parents know as the school day wraps up and they go to pick up their kids? Will there be anything different for them?
I would anticipate heavier traffic. As you mentioned, I think that traffic is pretty difficult to navigate in that area around where this fire is burning, and of course Washington Junior High and Apple Glen. But we would also encourage parents to not go and pick them up early. I know sometimes your impulse is to rush to the school and want to get your baby. I'm a mom, I understand that, but they are safe. They had lunch as normal. Fortunately, we had electricity this morning, so lunch was prepared as normal. We've had days, for example, with inclement weather, things of that nature, where we didn't have power all day, and we're prepared to do the cold lunch. As long as we have running water, we're still good to go. So for these children, it's a pretty typical learning day. They'll still continue with class and have a normal day. They'll take recess inside, just like if it were a rainy day or an especially cold day. So there's no need for parents to feel compelled. As you mentioned, the traffic is really tough in that area, so there's no reason for them to feel compelled to go pick up their child.
Now, Leslie, I want to ask, because we do have an emergency alert for air quality. You're on the ground there. What is the air quality like around these schools right now?
I don't know. I don't have a background where I could speak to air quality specifically. As a precaution, we are keeping students in that area in for recess. Our junior high schools actually don't have recess once they get past middle school, but I can't answer that directly as far as what the air quality is like. I simply don't know.
Okay, Leslie Wright with the Bentonville Public Schools. Leslie, thanks for keeping us updated on this.
You bet.
To recap there, 4 schools currently without power. Those schools are Washington Junior High, Apple Glen Elementary, Old High Middle, R.E. Baker Elementary. 2 of those schools, kids that had to be kept inside for recess due to concerns over air quality there. You could see this thick black smoke billowing into the air for the past couple hours now. This fire at 1900 East Central Avenue. It's an address for United Industries, a business that makes foam. Also, some other businesses in the area that have been affected. Walmart's big in that area. Lamia Jenkins with Walmart says the MLK building was evacuated after police directed them to. Jenkins says the Sam Walton Development Center was not evacuated, but employees there were invited to leave if they chose to as well. Again, though, no injuries to report at this time. That is the good news. We've talked to a couple hospitals in the area. They are ready just in case to take in any patients that may arise. Now, we've been getting a lot of pictures into the newsroom. Our anchor, Tavares Jones, has been here following this story ever since that fire broke out. I want to get it over to him for the very latest on what he's seeing. Tavares.
Yeah, Chad, that's right. As you said, this is all still developing right now. Several viewers have sent in a number of photos. We saw the black plume of smoke billowing across the area. I can tell you people have called the newsroom several times. Again, this all in Bentonville. You can see it down to Lowell. Some people even seeing this in Fayetteville. This is just one of the photos that we're seeing. It gives you a closer vantage point. People in various parking lots. Again, as you mentioned, the air quality out there has been deemed a risk. So if you are in the area, you're asked to evacuate the area if you can and avoid the area as crews work to contain this fire. Again, no injuries have been reported, but again, these are some of the photos. Again, this is at the United Foam manufacturing plant. You can see the black smoke there, just how it's impacting the people driving down the street. So this is the scene that we're seeing right now. Again, no injuries reported. I do know we have several journalists and photojournalists heading to the scene to give us an even closer look and get direct info from fire officials. We heard about those 4 schools without power. Again, thankfully, no injuries have been reported. We'll bring you the very latest as this story develops. You want to be sure to stay tuned to your KNWA mobile app as well as our website. That's nwahomepage.com. Chad?
Thanks, Tavares. And on that website, we have a story up about some traffic delays in that area, roads that have been closed down or where you might experience delays as well. So go to nwahomepage.com and check that out if you need to drive around Bentonville. Now, I want to get over to Lauren Craycall, one of our reporters. She is in Bentonville live for us at 5th and P Street at the scene of the fire. You can see that smoke behind her. Lauren, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, Chad, I'm here with Debbie Griffin with the city of Bentonville. And Debbie, it has happened at 11:30 this morning. Can you tell me what has happened here?
Right. The fire started about 11:30 this morning. It started as an external fire and then moved to the structure. We're at United Industries. There had been some communication that had gone out about evacuations and injuries. The employees, obviously, there were no injuries upon arrival of our fire department. They checked with the owner of the building. There were no injuries. There were no evacuations other than the people that were in the building, the working building from the area. There had been some concern because we've got a couple schools a couple miles from here. Electricity did go out at those schools, but there was no danger, and we don't know if the power outage was even related to this incident. Because of the air patterns and the way the wind was blowing, there was no smoke or fume damages or anything to be concerned about for the students. So we want to make sure, we have a lot of concerned parents and we understand that. We want to make sure that they know there was an electrical outage at those schools, but no danger for the children.
Yeah, and I know y'all are having word about that. It's clearing up. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
I believe the fire department just let me know that they have the fire contained. Obviously, they're still working in the area. We did get assistance from our neighboring cities, from Rogers, Bella Vista, and Centerton here at this fire, and they're continuing to work it. It'll probably be a while before it's put out completely, but again, no injuries, no evacuations from this area. And an alert that went out did not come from the city of Bentonville. That caused some masks about air quality. It did not come from the city of Bentonville either. I'm not sure where that was issued from, but we're still here working the scene, and that's the latest from what I can give you.
All right, well, thank you so much, Debbie. I appreciate it. And stay with us, and you'll hear more at the 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock on KNWA News. Reporting in Bentonville, Lauren Craycall, KNWA Northwest Arkansas News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks for that update, Lauren. That video you were seeing there over that interview was from earlier today before the fire was contained. Of course, that update now, the fire is contained, but as you can tell, that scene's still very active. A lot of smoke in the area. Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff just informed me with the way the wind's blowing, it's likely moving to the southeast of there. You can see it from miles away, cities all around northwest Arkansas. We could see it here in Fayetteville, a thick black cloud of smoke. There was an emergency alert for air quality sent to people on their phones in that area. You need to be cautious being outdoors. It could be irritable to people, especially if you have health conditions, things like asthma, COPD, young children. If you breathe this in, it could cause you to be sick. It could make breathing very difficult in that area. One of the reasons why the school district decided to keep a couple of the schools indoors for recess today. Now, we are still getting some more images into the newsroom. I want to get back over to Tavares Jones. Tavares, what are the latest ones we're seeing here?
Yeah, Chad, these images coming in as we speak. Several viewers taking these from their cell phone and driving down the street. Here's another one behind me. You can see that massive plume of black smoke just billowing in the sky. It looks like this is a Walmart kind of industrial area here in a park somewhere. Here's another thick plume of smoke. You can see that. People taking these as they're driving down the street, just wondering what is going on. Again, this fire all broke out around 11:30 this morning. There is an air quality alert in the area. If you're in the area, you want to certainly avoid it and try to get out as soon as you can. It's unclear what chemicals this plant uses to manufacture those foam materials. You can see there's some people standing in the distance. Some fire when this first started. Again, as you heard Chad say, or Chad, as you said, crews have now contained this fire. But as we saw our reporter Lauren with boots on the ground, that fire and foam or smoke weather still billowing in the distance. Right now, again, no injuries reported. Several emergency rooms are on standby in case there are any injuries. And just to reiterate, we have 4 schools in the area without power. It's unclear right now if this was a preempted measure to control the electricity that would have been cut from the schools. But right now, we heard from Leslie Wright. She says that this was not planned. So again, a normal school day for students. You heard Leslie say earlier, don't rush to pick up your children. School officials are equipped and prepared to have a full school day. As always, we'll bring you the very latest on our website. That's nwahomepage.com. And be sure to have our KNWA mobile app, the latest push notifications and the very latest developments in this fire. Chad?
Tavares, and on that note, be sure to look us up on social media too. We're on Facebook and Twitter posting all the latest updates. Lauren's out there at the scene. We have Kelly O'Neill heading out there. Jennifer Piñate, my co-anchor, will be out there on the scene as well. We are covering this from all angles we can find. Now that fire is contained. That means they don't expect it to spread anymore, but it is not out. That is still a very active fire scene in that area, 1900 East Central Avenue, causing a lot of traffic delays. So don't expect it to be easy going if you're out on the streets quite yet in that area. Just because it's contained, this is not over yet. They have crews not only from Benton County, but fire crews from Rogers, Bella Vista, Centerton, all there to assist in this large industrial fire at a foam manufacturer. You can see the smoke there still filling the sky today, creating an emergency alert for air quality. We spoke on the phone to Leslie Wright earlier with Bentonville schools because there were some concerns with the schools. 4 of their schools are without power. Those are Washington Junior High, Apple Glen Elementary, Old High Middle, and R.E. Baker Elementary, all without power today. Now, Leslie Wright was telling us not to be concerned. As Tavares was saying, they are well equipped to carry on with their full school day, which will be wrapping up here in about an hour. She said parents might expect some traffic delays. It is a little bit harder to get around the area, especially with those schools nearby the fire. However, plan is for a normal school day. They will let out at a normal time. You can go pick your children up at their normal time as well. As we continue to get images in, we will keep you updated. You see the smoke here. You're looking out live of this fire in Bentonville. Crews still on scene fighting it. Now, a couple other issues in the area from businesses. Walmart with some facilities out there. The MLK building was evacuated because of its proximity to that fire. Police directed Walmart to evacuate that building, and they went ahead and did it. We talked to Lamia Jenkins there with Walmart. She says the Sam Walton Development Center was not evacuated. They didn't have to evacuate there, but they have given their employees the option to leave if they choose to do so. We're trying to get more crews out to the scene right now, and we will keep you updated as we learn more about this developing story. We're going to leave it there now, and we'll cut in as it demands. This is Chad Mira covering breaking news with Tavares Jones. Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff setting up. He has some weather bug images for us, as well as to talk about the winds, because this smoke is moving. So let's get over to Dan right now. Dan.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update on the winds and the current direction of the winds, because obviously this smoke plume is headed downwind, and right now we have westerly winds across the area. Thankfully, not extremely gusty, but out of the west at about 10 miles an hour. So that smoke plume that you're seeing on the southwest side of Bentonville is moving to the east-southeast, and the upper level winds are out of the northwest. So you're going to see that the wind gusts really not a factor, which is good news. But when we look at the satellite radar, you can see those high clouds moving in. Now that smoke plume also associated with these high clouds, but you can definitely tell the difference with the darker color of the smoke plume. But here's a look at the high resolution satellite imagery. Again, there's high clouds that are spreading out over on top of the smoke plume, but you can see the general direction of those winds. So when we go back to the winds, you're going to see that that smoke plume will be carried over the south side of Rogers, north side of Springdale, and thankfully, again, that smoke plume headed in a easterly direction, not really on the west side or northwest side of Bentonville, as you saw with that live shot that Lauren Craycall was at. The smoke plume was moving downwind away from her location. So areas that are over Beaver Lake, though, we'll have to be watching out for that as that smoke plume makes its way to the east-southeast towards Rogers and eventually very close to War Eagle Creek and those areas in southeastern Benton County. So we'll keep you updated, and thankfully no wind shift expected throughout the day, Chad. So that's good news there. Winds will start to weaken as well, and hopefully this fire can get under containment. So back to you, Chad.
Thanks, Dan. And as you can see, that smoke is blowing. Driving into work here in Fayetteville, even we could see it spreading off in the distance for several miles. So it is something to be mindful of. And we want to remind parents once again in Bentonville of what's going on with the schools, because there are a couple schools close by that fire. That's Washington Junior High and Apple Glen Elementary. They did keep students inside for recess today out of concern for air quality, but they're also dealing with some power outages. I believe we have a list of those schools for you. They are Old High Middle, Okay, Washington has power back on. Washington Junior High was one of the 4 schools that had lost power. We were just told that the power there is back on, so good news there, some progress, but 3 schools still without power that we know of. That's Old High Middle, R.E. Baker Elementary, and Apple Glen Elementary. Apple Glen, one of those schools close by the fire that has kids staying indoors today due to the air quality concerns. Now, if you live in the area, you probably got that alert on your phone, an emergency alert sent out to people because of the air quality there. We want to warn people it could be cautious, it could be dangerous to your health if you're out breathing in this smoke, especially if you have health concerns, if you're dealing with asthma, if you have children who deal with asthma, maybe COPD as well. So be cautious, maybe stay inside yourself if you can. There are some delays on the streets as well. We have a map up on our website of some of the traffic problems. Streets had to be closed down as crews were responding to the scene there. Now we have more fire video into the newsroom. Let's get back over to Tavares Jones. Tavares, what are we seeing now?
Chad, there's just into the newsroom. Here's some video of those flames as they broke out when this first happened about 2 hours ago. You can see the magnitude of those flames causing that black smoke we're seeing to billow up in the air, which is still active right now. We saw Lauren, our reporter, out there. Again, we heard from Bentonville County officials. They say this fire started outside of the plant and somehow made its way inside. No injuries being reported. You can see the way this is billowing. Obviously, there has to be some sort of a gas tied to this. Again, fire officials not saying exactly how this fire started. That's the question people want to know, in addition to the air quality issue that it's causing across our area. We'll bring you the very latest as this story develops. Chad?
Incredible video there, and as you said, there's got to be something fueling this fire. We know this is a United Industries facility at 1900 East Central Avenue in Bentonville. They manufacture foam, so I'm sure there's probably equipment and chemicals on hand that could be fueling that fire. We have this new video into the scene right now. You see people driving around there, but look at the smoke in the sky. What a seemingly sunny day, just completely darkened by these clouds. Incredible shot there. Great perspective from our video journalists and people sending these images and videos into the newsroom. We thank you for that. We also want to, we've covered the schools, but there are businesses in this area as well. Walmart has some facilities, and we want to reiterate, MLK building, a Walmart building, the MLK building was evacuated after police told them to do so out of a precaution of this fire potentially spreading and all that smoke. Now, they have another center there, the Sam Walton Development Center. That did not have to be evacuated, but employees do have the option to leave if they choose to do so. You can see the number of people there lining up on the street trying to get a glimpse of this fire. Fire trucks driving down the street. Look at all those cars lining the road. That is why we are seeing some traffic backups there. I'm wondering, do we still have Lauren Craycall on the phone? Okay, we're getting set back up with Lauren to get another update live out at the scene with her, but just look at these images that we're getting in. That's a Rogers Fire Department vehicle right there. We do know people from Bentonville, Rogers, Bella Vista, Centerton, all helping respond to this large fire. It started just a couple hours ago. It has since been contained. That's the good news. Fire crews have been there working. They've contained it, but as you can see, the danger is not quite over yet. That smoke still flowing into the air. Lauren Craycall is on standby at the scene for us. Lauren, where are you set up now? And we see some vehicles moving behind you. What are you seeing?
Yeah, Chad, I'm here, and I just spoke to Debbie Griffin with the city of Bentonville. She says that they have the fire under control, but right now it's not out right now. And as you can see behind me, it's just a big cloud of black smoke. I know on my way here through Fayetteville, I saw it all the way up on Garland Avenue, actually. And the traffic here was kind of crazy on the way up here, just people stopping by. They have so many crews out here. I know that Bella Vista came and helped out, as well as Rogers, just to have all hands on deck. Debbie Griffin says there is no injuries that were reported. She also said that there were no evacuations aside from the building here. There were a couple of daycares and schools without power, but she said they weren't sure if that was even related to the fire or not, but those schools do not have power. And as you can see, just a lot of smoke. Just a lot of smoke. And Bentonville crews are out here as well. I'll just give you a minute to look at that. All right. All right, and we're going to step back in, and I am talking to Sergeant Gene Page with the city of Bentonville. And can you just tell me a little bit about what's going on out here?
Right now we're going to keep the roadways closed, so that's going to cause a little bit more congestion for this afternoon. The fire is contained, as you can tell. It's still burning, and that's important for people to know it's still burning, but right now it is contained, so we don't expect it to spread anymore at this time, but we are going to have to keep the roadways closed. Still no injuries. We just checked on the fire department. No injuries, no further change in that. So far so good, but it's going to take a little bit longer for it to get it cleared up.
Yeah, and what about the air quality? I know that was kind of a rise of concern for parents and, individuals out there.
Of course, I think some of the word got out early on that maybe there was some type of toxins, but we don't have any record of that or any kind of indication that there is any danger with that smoke. Obviously, you want to avoid any kind of smoke at any given time. So if it does grow, we'll make sure we get that word out.
And are we kind of seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, or do you think we'll be out here for a couple more hours?
Probably a couple more hours. When you have that size of a fire, they're going to stay on the scene and make sure it is completely extinguished. We've got the wind, a lot of other things that they're battling out here. So we'll be out here for at least 3 or 4 more hours.
All right. Well, Sergeant Page, is there anything else you'd like to say to the citizens out there?
Just let them know we'll keep them up to date. Stay tuned, and we'll make sure that they know as soon as we do.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. And stay with KNWA News for the latest, and back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Lauren. An important update there from Sergeant Page, letting us know they're not aware of any toxins involved with that smoke. Certainly a relief there, knowing it's coming from an industrial building, a manufacturer, but no toxins you said to be aware of. However, still, you want to avoid that smoke. Now, Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff has been keeping an eye on this as well from his angle. Let's get over back to him. Dan, what's the latest shot we're looking at here?
Yeah, I just got some different camera views of our WeatherBug network cameras, and you'll see that smoke plume every now and then kind of billows up, but it's not nearly what it was earlier about a half hour ago, as they've been talking about that fire getting under containment. But I want to show you how wide this smoke plume spread. So this is from Fulbright Junior High. We're looking off to the northeast. This is, of course, on the west side of Bentonville, and we're looking on the north side of Bentonville. There you see the smoke plume billowing up, and every now and then a little bit more smoke that starts to fill the sky. And then one more view, and this is from Springdale. This is from Arkansas Children's Northwest. There you can see the fire off in the distance. But if we take the camera and point it actually a little bit more to the east, you're going to see when the smoke was really pouring in, as that fire was really going, and you can see that dark smoke plume that's stretching out over northwest Arkansas, with those winds in the upper levels flowing from west-northwest, taking that smoke plume to the east-southeast. And you can tell the difference between the high clouds, which are those cirrus clouds, which are white in color, and there's that smoke plume that's stretching out over the area. So just to give you an idea, if you look at those upper-level winds, that smoke plume is headed to the east-southeast. I want to zoom way in just to give you an idea where this is at and why Washington Junior High, as we mentioned, did not have power. You also have Apple Glen Elementary. That's very close to the vicinity of the fire, but that west-northwest wind is taking that smoke plume to the east-southeast. So the neighborhood just south of 72 Central Avenue, and that's going to be extending over 49, and pretty much Lost Springs Golf and Athletic Club is right in the path of that smoke plume as it travels on the north side of Rogers, headed towards, like we talked about, Lake Atalanta and parts of Beaver Lake. So that's just kind of a good idea as to exactly where the smoke plume is in relation to the schools and the surrounding neighborhoods, just to kind of let you know exactly where that's headed. And those west-northwest winds are expected to continue at around 10 miles an hour throughout the day. No wind shift, so we don't have to worry about anything changing with that. Chad, back to you.
Yeah, an incredible perspective there. You showed us that Springdale camera. You can see the smoke all the way from there, stretching miles across the skyline. Absolutely incredible. We do have some good news, an update for you regarding the school situation. We were reporting 4 schools were without power. All 4 of those schools now have power once again. Washington Junior High, Apple Glen Elementary, Old High Middle, R.E. Baker Elementary, all lost power at some point today. We believe, we're hearing from the school district that it could be related to the fire. They haven't been able to confirm that yet. However, all 4 of those schools without power at one point now restored. Good news there as they wrap up their school day here within about an hour. Now we're getting some more images into the studio here. Dan showing us that great wide shot from our WeatherBug cameras. But let's get back over to Tavares because we're getting some more images just to show you the magnitude of this fire.
Yeah, Chad, new photos coming in as we cover this play-by-play. People sending these in via social media and our website, as well as emailing our newsroom. Here's a photo. You can see just how high that smoke was, several feet up in the air. Again, we're hearing no injuries were reported. Again, it's unclear how this fire started. Bentonville city officials tell us because the fire started outside and made its way into the building. The only evacuation in place right now was the one where the fire started. You can see people here driving. Looks like what was the Bentonville downtown square. That smoke billowing in the air. Several tanks here in this industrial park where this all unfolded. Again, you heard from Sergeant Gene Page. He tells us there were no confirmed chemicals in the smoke that you're seeing in the air right now. But I can tell you the way this is billowing up, from my experience as a journalist covering several fires over the years, there has to be something fueling this fire. That's going to come out later today as we bring you the latest developments in our evening newscast and fire crews get to the bottom of this. Again, this all happening at an industrial plant that makes foam materials. United Industries, again, in the 1900 block of East Central Avenue in Bentonville. As Chad has been saying this afternoon, several crews are offering mutual aid to help fight this fire. Again, at this hour, it is contained, and we're here. It should stop from spreading the smoke, but crews will be on the scene for several hours, and we certainly plan to bring you the latest as this story develops. Chad?
Thanks, Tavares. Yes, as a fire this size, the crews will be out there for a long time. Something fueling this fire, as you said. Now, the good update there from Sergeant Page earlier today was no toxins that they're aware of that we need to be concerned about. However, that air quality alert, you probably got it on your phones if you live in that area. It did go out earlier today. People need to be aware of the air quality. Just to give you some perspective of where exactly this fire is, it is the 1900 East Central Avenue. It's at a company we know as United Industries. It manufactures foam in that area, and there are a couple schools nearby, a couple other businesses as well, but this is the 1900 East Central Avenue. Now, Walmart also has some buildings in that area. The MLK building was evacuated earlier today because police directed that. However, the Sam Walton Development Center, also in that area, did not have to evacuate, but employees were given the option to leave. And we were looking at our Rogers camera from the sky here, and you can see the smoke has dissipated greatly. You still see a little bit there going up into the sky, but compared to those images Tavares just showed us, the smoke is dying down greatly. That is some good news because this has been a major effort to contain that fire. Just a little bit ago, we were told the firefighters do have it contained, but they are obviously all still on scene fighting this thing, and they will be there to make sure it is 100% completely out. And there are fire crews from all over helping out with this. Rogers, Bella Vista, Centerton, of course, Bentonville itself. Now, we want to remind you, we have been tracking this story all day, ever since that fire broke out. We have images and stories posted all over our social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We will continue to update those throughout the afternoon as we have several reporters and photojournalists on scene continuing to get pictures and interviews for you. You can download the KNWA News app. That app is free on Google Play and in the App Store. You can get all the latest information on that. And of course, as always, nwahomepage.com. If you're at a computer, go to that website. You can follow all of our latest coverage on there. We have several stories up, as well as photo galleries. We have maps on there that you need to take a look at if you're driving around this area, because there, as you can imagine, a lot of traffic concerns right now. There were some streets closed down, still a lot of delays, especially if you're going to pick up your kids from school. We talked to Leslie Wright with the Bentonville schools earlier. She said parents may run into some traffic issues when they go to pick up their kids this afternoon. That's going to wrap up our special coverage of this fire. Stay with us all afternoon, and of course we'll be live back here on KNWA at 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll get you back to your regular programming.